Hey everyone, Shabby Gamer here and welcome back to another episode of our Gibraltar Challenge here on Football Manager 2016. Now in this episode we have for you the Senior League Cup Final and the Rock Cup Final, and hopefully we can walk away with all the silverware once again for about the 5th or 6th season in a row now. We've really dominated everything, aren't we? But of course we've got that first match against Lincoln Red Imps at home at the Victoria Stadium. And then the second one has not been decided yet. It's either Glasses United or Gibraltar United. But either way it should be easy anyway. So without further ado, let's get straight into that first match. And here we go. As you can see, we are big favourites of this one as normal, 1-6, and the Lincoln Red Imps are 10-1. Now I've changed the formation ever so slightly because I've been having to dig through and I've been trying to identify who our best players are. And I'm thinking that this is probably the better way to try and get the best players on the pitch every single time. So I think this is probably our strongest team we can possibly put out at the moment. So we've got Bruno Ramito in goal, of course. And the three centre-backs are Konganyoy. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right or not, but I think I'm getting close. He's been a very good player for us this year. Obeth Patino. And we would normally have Simplice McKendy, but he's currently out injured. So we are playing Jim Morrison as the other centre-back, just to try and keep him happy and fit, of course, because he's one of our main men in Gibraltar. In the midfield, we have Christian Ataganya, who really, over the last few episodes, has become a real demon down that last... down the left-hand side, scoring quite a few goals and getting some assists as well. In the middle, we have Anders Broger, who's going to be our club captain next year, with Chris Morgan leaving. Alongside him, Natalio Caballero, more of an attacking player. And on the right-hand side, we have Roberto Otero, the Mr. Assist. And in the three strikers, we have Joe Stevens. I'd love to keep hold of this guy for long enough to make him Gibraltarian, I really would. Alongside him, we have Kenneth Davidson, who's been called up for the Scotland side for the European Championships. And then alongside him we have Christian Baez. So this should hopefully be a pretty easy sort of walkthrough for us. Lincoln Red Imps have finished second in the league, I think. Yeah, I think they were fixed there, weren't they? Yeah, they finished second in the league, but... Where's the big... Oh, there's the big stand. Yeah, they finished second in the league, but by... I think they drew their last game, so we actually won the league by 31 points this season. So really have dominated proceedings, really, and I can't imagine that Red Imps are going to cause us too many problems here. The thing is, we finished 31 points ahead of Red Imps, and they were about 8 points ahead of third place. So just shows the big golfing gap, doesn't it? And I was speaking in the last episode about sort of a big four in this country. Well, obviously we've got us as like out there on our own, Europa Point. And then just behind us, well not just behind us, but quite a way behind us, you have Glasses United, Gibraltar United and Lincoln Red Imps. Those are the three clubs that seem to be doing really well in the country. Everyone else seems to be very much up and down, but those four clubs seem to be the ones that are guaranteed those first four spots most seasons. And of course, if you didn't see the last episode, you'll be thinking to yourself, wow, that stand at the back looks big, and it is. We've finally finished upgrading the stadium to the biggest it can possibly go. It's a 5,000-seater stadium now, which is its maximum capacity. And I think what we have to do now is we have to look at... Wow, Davidson right in the top corner. Yeah, what we need to do now is we need to look at obviously building our own stadium now, but according to our chairman, we don't have a big enough fan base yet. But I don't know if he's noticed that we've completely sold out this stadium here for this cup final, but there you go. I think another 1 or 2 years we'll be able to do that. I think the chairman will realise that we really have got a massive amount of people inside the stadium now. I'm a little bit freaked out. My the lid of my flask just popped open by itself. That's really weird. It like flew open like it had been flicked open. I don't know if there's like pressure inside or... I don't know what just happened there. That's freaked me out, that has. I do think there's something in this flat, I really do. Strange things happen every now and again, and that's just the most recent one. That's given me chills, that has now. I've got pins and needles down my back. That really freaked me out. I just defied the laws of physics there. The lid just... Yeah, you might have heard like a pop. And that was the lid just popping off. I don't know what happened. It's like a push-in one as well. So for it to just pop open, there's no drink in it or anything. It's empty at the moment. So for it to pop open like that, I just don't understand. I do not understand. Okay. I'm going to ignore that for now. We're going to concentrate on the football and not the fact that I may be being possessed by some sort of demonic force. Who knows? So 1-0 due to a cracking goal by Kenneth Davidson Is there a second before half-time? Caballero's got the throw and we're going to try it. Caballero now bringing the ball forward to Otero. Otero's ball forward to Holland. Cuts it out though. And he kicks it straight against his teammate's head. And it drops back to Baez, who does a nice little bit of running there. Can he get the ball into the box? He does. And it's come back to Davidson. He's got some force on them shots, Davidson. But unluckily for him, this time the defender did get in the way. And now Cookie's on the ball. But he gets it taken off in there by Broga, and it has gone out for a throw-in for them. Of course, as I've been saying the last few episodes, mainly because I'm very excited, and you're probably getting bored of me telling you now, Anders Broga only has about another 150 odd days before he can officially become a Gibraltarian national player. And that's going to be a big turning point for us, because he's a big, big player. Davidson scored again. Yeah, Broga is a really big player. I think he's one of the best players we've got now. And it's great to see that we brought a player in at 16 years old. We parked him down in the reserves. We never really used him. And then all of a sudden, just a flick of a switch, I just noticed that he turned into this absolute world beater. And over the last couple of years, he's just got better and better. To the point where I think he's actually one of our better players. I think this year, I think he's a shoo-in to win the player of the season for us. Because I'm pretty sure he's got the highest average rating of about a 7.8 or 7.9. Something like that. And he's played nearly every single game this season. So he really is an absolute beast for us. Baez hits the crossbar and it has gone out for a throw. So Davidson was fishing around at the back post there. I thought he might have got himself that goal. Otero plays the ball in. It's headed clear by Henderson. Can Otero get back there? No, he doesn't, but it is going to be a throw-in. But can we get it in before half-time? No, we cannot. So we are 2-0 up at half-time in the Senior League Cup final. Which I'm pretty happy with that. I'm pretty sure we can go forth and continue on to win this one. The one thing I'm a little bit annoyed about this stadium is the fact that the expansion wasn't very equal. It's put the whole expansion on the far side, and these people here in the top corner, you can't really see them now. There's a few people that wouldn't be able to see in real life because they'll be behind the stand. You'll probably see it as we come down here now. Yeah, these people here, they can't see the goal. These are obviously the cheap seats. That's a little bit, it's a little bit odd, but hopefully when we get our own stadium built, we can have a lot more well-rounded stadium. I'm hoping if we do get a stadium, I'm looking for like a 10,000 seat stadium to start off with a bit of room for progression as well. Because it'd be nice to get a pretty decent sized stadium in the country. Good tackle there by Patino. Broga hits onto it, then Ataganya plays the big ball over the top to Stevens. And this is a good sort of formation, having these three strikers up front, because two of them automatically tend to go out a bit wider, and it does give sort of a 2-on-1 on the wing backs normally, which is a pretty clever move for us. Otero now with a corner. We're really pressuring here in the second half. It's going to come back out. It looks like Otero is going to get back on it. He does get there. Plays it across to Jim Morrison. Got 4 caps now for Gibraltar. He's still quite a chunk behind Frank Evans on his 82. Davidson took the shot and he hit the side netting. So Baez is not having a very good game, is he? He's only playing 6.4. Might have to look at bringing him off at some point. Davidson over the top. It's Ataganya who kicks onto it. Cuts inside. Nearly lost it, but he does keep a hold of it. It's bouncing around everywhere. Baez gets it and he gets another opportunity, and it has gone out for a corner. I think Baez has got a bit of work to do here. He's not having the best of games. Otero now with a corner. I think Baez will be one of the ones that's going to come off in a few minutes, I think. Baez is very up and down this season. He's had a few games where he's been absolutely incredible, and a few games where he just seems to drop out of it a bit. He's playing a 6.3, so he's actually worse than what it was when he started the game. Good header out there by Caballero. Caballero has really been a player who's stepped up to the mark a few weeks. He was complaining he wasn't playing enough first team football, even though he's played a lot compared to some players, but we gave him a few more games, and he's really improved tenfold since he asked for the first team football. I think there's must be something in there where he tries to impress you, and he really has done, actually. The first game after he said he wanted more first team football, I put him in, and he scored 2 goals in the first 6 minutes. And that was with 3 strikers on the pitch as well. He was just going for it all himself. Bayer sits the outside of the post. A pretty impossible angle to try and score there, though, I suppose. And I want to make some substitutions, but everything seems to be pretty much tied up at the moment, doesn't it? Bayer's big ball over the top to Stevens. Joe Stevens at the far post. Plays it in. It's come to Otero, and Otero puts it in. And as me talking a few minutes ago about impossible angles, and Otero just slams it in from wide right. Mr. Assist has got himself a few goals in the last few games. I'm not quite sure if this is what Stevens was. No, he probably wasn't going for that at all, was he? But it went all the way across the penalty area, and Otero was there at the back post to slam it into the back of the net. Good times. Right now, substitution-wise, Bustamante, you are coming on the pitch in place of Christian Bayers. Because now Joe Stevens with that assist all of a sudden has fired his rating out the park all of a sudden. And for some reason I've got 2 wing-backs on the pitch and no wing-backs on the... 2 wing-backs on the bench and no wing-backs on the pitch. I've got no idea why I did that. We can always change formation, can't we, at some point? Might do that with like 20 minutes left. Change formation to bring the 2 wing-backs on just to try and hold on to the lead. Otero now have another corner. Oh, Caballero hit that on the volley. Wow. What a goal that was by Caballero. Hitting the ball on the volley as well. That's quite impressive. Get a better angle of it here. Nice. The keeper for some reason had his back to it. No idea why, but it's a goal either way. And we are now 4-0 up. So let's change the formation a bit then. Let us take off Stevens. Push Morrison across. Push Davidson up there. Then we'll bring on Varas. And we'll bring on Gallardo. And we'll go to a 4-4-2. Wow. A 4-4-2. How old school is that? We haven't played a 4-4-2 in a long time. But we'll just sort of hold it out. I want to really just give Varas and Gallardo some more match time. I think Gallardo is still unhappy. He's not playing enough football time. So we're just trying to push him as much as we can, really. Nice cross in, but Burton does catch a hold of it. It is really warm in here. I'm cooking some stuff for my lunch tomorrow, and it's just so hot with the oven on and everything like that on the go at the same time. So Crossing now is part of our international squad at the moment. Not quite sure how long he will be for though. We sort of brought him in not necessarily because he was one of the best in that position, but because he could fulfil certain roles as well. Because he can play defensive midfield, he can play centre back as well as that left back position. So he was very much a player who could mix it up and play different roles. That's a good goal there for Lincoln Redham. So they've got themselves one back anyway. Stupid, we go from 3 defenders back up to 4 and all of a sudden we concede a goal. We've had 38 shots but only 12 on target. 40 shots, only 16 on target. So still, our shot conversion rate is still less than 50%, which is not good enough for me. I'm not happy with that at all. Otero plays the ball over the top to Bustamante, who hopefully in next year, or in a year's time, will be a prolific goal scorer for the national side. That's the plan anyway. So that's them we've got to worry about. Jackson comes forward to Webb. Nope, Broga cuts it out. Very well done, Broga. That's a captain's work there by Broga. Actually, you might have noticed that Morgan's not playing as much, and that's because, like I said, because he's leaving the club, I've sort of gone off him a little bit, I must admit. He's become very much an annoyance to me, just by how he's acted. We got a bid in for £2,000. He's like, why are you not accepting this bid for? I can't believe you're making me stay here. And we're like, you're much better than the £2,000. Great goal by Broga. You're much better than £2,000. It's a bit of an insult. And luckily, we managed to do a bit of argy-bargy with West Ham. They didn't want to pay much for him, and I instantly said, we want $1 million for him. I think they came in with an offer of 20 grand or something like that, and I said, I want $1 million. They came back and said, we think this is acceptable, so they offered it, so I can't complain too much. But since then, I've just sort of I've gone off him a little bit. I get a bit annoyed with these players, I really do. Otero, the free kick, straight against the wall, but he gets it back again. Shot straight against the wall again. Broga's now on the ball, plays it forward to Davidson, who plays it to Otero. Otero cuts it in. It's come back to Otero. Across the goal. It's cleared by Evans. Now is the full-time whistle. A 5-1 victory in the Senior League Cup final. I'll take that. I'll definitely take that. And we are the Senior League Cup winners for once again. I wonder how much money we're going to get. It's been slowly going up every single season. I think we got like 50 grand last year for winning it. But yeah, if it pops up, I'll show you. If not, we'll get straight into that Rock Cup final. It has popped up, and the value has actually gone up as well. It's gone up to £106,000 there for winning that Senior League Cup final, which is pretty good, actually. I like that. The prize money slowly, year on year on year, has been going up for this. So that evidently means that the reputation of the Cup has been going up as well, which is good. I like that. Let's get into the Rock Cup final and see how much money we get for that one. If we win it, of course. We'll come back quickly now, because this is quite interesting. I've just noticed this. We've actually been drawn in the Europa League Division D. And we've drawn against Andorra, Cyprus and the Faroe Islands. I'm pretty happy with that, to tell the truth. Obviously, because of that, our entire friendly schedule's gone. But I'm happy with that group, because I think Faroe Islands and Andorra are both clubs that we can do pretty well against. Cyprus is going to be a struggle, but I'm not too disappointed with that. I'm not too disappointed with that at all. I think we can do well in this. I really do. Especially with our brand new players as well. I think this is something we can definitely go for. So the first game is going to be the 1st and the 5th of September. Then we've got the 6th and the 10th of October. Then the 10th and the 14th of November. And hopefully by the end of that we can definitely have increased our FIFA rankings. I'm hoping we're going to win at least one of those games. I'm expecting both games against the Faroe Islands probably to win. Maybe even both games against Andorra as well. I think Cyprus are the only team we've really got to worry about. Once we get Bustamante, Broga, Jamie Wildman, Juan Carlos Dulce, we've already got Jim Morrison, we've got Ramito. Once they're all in the Gibraltar squad, it should become a lot easier for us. But enough of me blabbing on. We do have Glasses United in the Rock Cup final to come, and that's coming to you right now. And here we go. We do have Glasses United in the final of the Rock Cup. They're 7-1. We are 1-3 favourites, so this should be pretty easy, really. And they've gone very narrow. We've gone very strange. For the first time in a long time, I've actually kept the same formation. There are a few changes in personnel, but we have kept the exact same formation. Been a long time since we did that. They've got Johnson in goal, who's our third choice goalkeeper for the national side, I believe, and Liam Joyce, the centre back, as one of our national players as well. In goal, we've gone for Matteo Leguern. He's a bit unhappy. He wants to play more first team football in the next few months, and we keep giving him a few games here and there. He's had quite a few games this season. He's had 5 games, 5 clean sheets in the league. I don't think that's much to do with him, though, is it? Alongside them we have David Sanchez. Unfortunately he's got an American cap now, so he's not going to be playing for Gibraltar anytime soon. Not anytime ever. Obef Betinho alongside them. And Stefan Conganyoy. Into the midfield we brought in Frederic Naud. The young Frenchman is a good player, actually. He's had a few injuries this season. But we managed to get him back fit for this one. We also then have Natalio Caballero, who's been pretty good. Anders Broga, of course, the future club. Oh, he's a club captain now, really. Chris Morgan's been sort of demoted, really, hasn't he? Roberto Otero out on the right, Mr. Assist. Joe Stevens is up front. Alongside, of course, Kenneth Davidson. And Christian Baez. So that's the team. Hopefully it's going to be enough for us to dominate the Rock Cup final as well. Should be. Go. Go and get that trophy, people. Matteo Leguern deserves it. It's been a long time since Matteo Leguern got Matteo Leguern. Matteo Leguern. It's been long. He's been getting games on and off for now for quite some time. He'd like to get a lot more, but the problem is he's not as good as some of the other goalkeepers we have. We have 3 really good goalkeepers, and then we've got Leguern as well, who's more of a youngster goalkeeper, but he wants to be playing first team football as well. That's the problem we have at the moment, anyway. But I want to try and keep him around because he's Gibraltarian, and it'd be good to have a second goalkeeper for Gibraltar who's at a different level to some of the others. So I think even Leguern is still quite some way ahead of Callum McDonald, the second choice Gibraltarian keeper. Not that they're going to get much football really with Bruno Ramito being as good as he is. But he's got 3 top centre-backs ahead of him at the moment as well. Davidson now plays the ball through to Baez, who plays it straight against the goalkeeper, and oh, they've just managed to claw it off the line. And look, we've filled the stadium out again. Hopefully the chairman's watching this and thinking to himself, you know what we need? We need our own bigger stadium. That's what we need. Because I've been trying to talk him into it now, and he keeps saying we haven't got a big enough fan base, but I think just looking at the last couple of episodes, since we've had this new stadium expansion, we've almost filled it out every single game. I know there have been big games. We've played against, it's quite ironic really, the last 2 league games of the season were against Lincoln Red Imps and Glasses, and the 2 cup finals were again against Lincoln Red Imps and Glasses. And we've almost, not completely, but we've almost sold out the stadium in every single game. And the best thing is that the 2 last away games, we were actually, so the 2 last league games, we were both away. But we still managed to take 4,000 away fans, which is 80% of the stadium was filled up by us for an away game. So that just shows how impressive we are at the moment. There we go, Baez with a goal. And we are now 1-0 in the lead, which is good. We needed that. Just to get that lead in place and just make things a little bit more comfortable for us. Those 3 guys up front are incredible though, aren't they? 3 of the best players we've got, and they're all the strikers. That's one thing I've noticed with this game. There's loads and loads and loads of really good attacking players, but it can be difficult to find defensive players, especially fullbacks are difficult. But then defensive midfielders is something I've really been looking for recently, defensive midfielders, because I really need someone to replace Morgan. I've not got anyone in as yet, unless we've got somebody we can promote from the reserve side, which is a possibility. There are some good players there, but at the same time, it's tricky. I want to make sure that whoever we bring in is going to be good enough, because if we got ourselves into the Champions League group stage again next year, we don't want some 16-year-old player who's got great potential but could end up being embarrassed in the Champions League football. Wow, Coutinho clears out. They hit the post. Glasses. I would like to see some other clubs really challenge us. I really would. It'd be nice if somebody else could challenge us, really. I want some of the other clubs that I think at the moment, I did have a check between episodes, we are still the only professional club in the league, and everyone else is still semi-professional, so no one else can actually hire anybody from outside Gibraltar at the moment. What they have done though, have been quite clever. They've actually signed some of the players that we brought into the country. The thing is, some of the players that we've released are not at a very high level. So they're still decent players. They're better than what they had, and they're doing very well in Gibraltar, but they're still not quite at the level that they want to really move forward and start to progress in Europe and things like that, because still the clubs are getting knocked out in the first round of the Europa League qualifiers and stuff like that, and it's a little bit more of a pain in the backside for them. Whereas we're walking through it now and getting at least to the 3rd qualifying stage of the playoffs. Yeah, some of these other clubs are really struggling. I think this year we walked through to the playoffs. Nobody even put up a fight against us, did they really? But I'm just sort of hoping that I'd love for it to become more difficult for us. I really would. Obviously, I still want to win the league and get through to the Champions League because we need that money to survive. But still, it'd be nice if some of the other clubs were starting to mount a challenge themselves in Europe and trying to push things through, because then we can look at getting a TV deal and stuff like that, which would be pretty cool. Because especially if other clubs in the country start to bring in good young Spanish and English players from around the world, then that's a whole lot of extra players that could be called up for the Gibraltar squad as well eventually. I think the Gibraltar squad's going to be really well developed over the next year though, I think. Like I've said, with all the players that we're going to have that we can call up, and I think that's going to happen now. Every single year there's going to be sort of 2 or 3 players that should join that cause, and that's why I keep buying a lot. You probably noticed a lot of these 18-year-olds, 16-year-olds, 17-year-olds, just to try and they might not ever make it into the team, but at least we can just keep building them up and keep them around. That's what we've done with Broga. We signed him at 16 years old. He's developed into an absolutely cracking player, and because he's been here for so long, he's now only about 100 days away from being Gibraltarian and being able to play for the national side. He is already he's a Gibraltarian national already, but he needs another 100 days before he's eligible to play for the national side. Sanchez heads it forward to Caballero. What you got in the locker, Caballero? You've just finished training killer balls, Caballero, so we might see some more threaded through balls from him. Baez takes it past one, plays it into Davidson in the middle. So with Davidson, I've noticed he seems to go a lot more for pace on the ball rather than accuracy. Otero's ball in. Sanchez. We've seen quite a few times now, this season especially, the two centre-backs linking up on a corner. Like, it'll go to the far post and one centre-back will head it back across the goal and our other centre-back will be there to head it into the back of the net. It's been quite a good season for our centre-backs. I think they've got about 10-15 goals between them. Kongoyoy, he's only played about 10 games and he's got 3 goals. And there's been goals for Coutinho as well. I think McKennie's got 1. Stevens, I tell you what, there's a lot of pinball going on in the area, but we still can't score that second goal. And I would like to get that second goal just to enforce our position in this match. Otero now with the ball in. It's bouncing around Coutinho, Sanchez. Oh god, there's still just more pinball in the box, but we can't get it in the back of the net. Come on, people. Come on. I want to get that second goal just to shore things up. Davidson's not having a very good game, so it seems to be mixing around back and forth, doesn't it? We've got Aritz, and let's bring on Aritz. He's just come back from injury, but you never know, he might have it in his locker to pull some out of this game. And Ataganya in place of Nord, because Nord's not necessarily... Oh, he's playing a 6.3. He's actually a 7.9. He's actually playing alright, isn't he? Let's bring him on in place of Caballero. I know Caballero's having a good game as well, but I just... I think it'd be nice to bring Ataganya on, because he's been so dangerous the last few games. It's a fresh set of legs as well. Aritz, of course, was our first of £1 million player, but he struggled with injuries this season as well. And he's been out, in and out of the team, really. He's only just come back from his injury. Are we going to scrape this one 1-0? Looks like we might do, you know. I was hoping for something a little bit more convincing than a 1, especially with 3 up front. I was hoping for something a little bit more convincing than a 1-0, but it looks like that's the way it's going to be. 2 minutes added on. It looks like we're going to do it. Oh, we've got a throw in. With only 10 seconds left, we're in control of the ball. Broga out wide to Otero. Poor cross, really. Gonzalez kicks it out. Is that going to be a full time? Blow the whistle, ref. Blow it. Blow the whistle. There we go. There we go. Oh, that was a bit of a tight one, that one. A little bit of a worry, but we did win the game 1-0 over Glasgow United to win the Rock Cup. Cracking. Everyone's happy with that. Aritz actually got the top goal scorer of the Cup, even though all 4 of them goals came in 1 game. That's how impressive that was. Let's have a quick look now and see what we got prize money wise for that as well then. We got £292,000 winning the Rock Cup. Wow, so prize money from those 2 cups was about £400,000. So that's really improving season on season. That's really good. I like that. So what are we going to do next season then? What are we going to do? We are going to come back, of course, for the Champions League qualifiers. Hopefully we're going to get another few easy teams, and then of course we do have those international matches coming up as well. But I think all of our Champions League qualifiers will be before then. So yeah, I'll see you all then. Of course, if you have enjoyed this episode, as always, please do hit that like button. It does really help me out. It makes the video easier for other people to find, and then the series and the channel can grow, of course. And of course, if you are new around here, be sure to hit that subscribe button as well for a lot more of the Gibraltar Challenge. And also, I've mentioned it before, but in the link in the description below, there will be a link to the Europa Point Twitter page and Facebook page. It's always worth a look. It's quite fun to see the actual the real version of this. You recognise the player names as well. It's so fun to look at, and they really do keep you up to date with everything that's going on in Gibraltarian football. So definitely go and check them out as well. I've been Shabby Gamer. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all next time.